can't tell you exactly the moment that the Historical Society originated. I know that it had its true development when Marilyn Marcus came with us, and that would have been late 2004. But the seeds of it, as with most good ideas, were much earlier. It takes a while to nurture and grow good ideas. And maybe it was the arrival of Al Rosenblatt, on the bench of the state of New York. I wondered for all the time I was there. I was always curious, and I was there since 1983 at the Court of Appeals. I was always curious about who inhabited my chamber before I was in it. It was impossible even to know that. The Court of Appeals, I mean, we're very precedent bound, but in terms of our own history, the history of our own court, the history of the courts of the state of New York, we were just not really good about keeping it for ourselves and for future generations. And so Al Rosenblatt, wonderfully curious, endlessly, boundlessly curious person that he is, he and I would often talk about these things. I remember once asking our public information officer for some sort of history of our building, of the people who occupied the building, who used the books. There were handwritten remarks in some of the books that were in my chambers. Whose handwriting is that? The public information officer at the time had started keeping little folders of the judges, just really not much, not even an inch thick. But Judge Rosenblatt became interested in that. Once Judge Rosenblatt is interested in something, beware, because he will take it to its very depths. And over the next years, he began enlarging those little folders, learning more and more and more about the judges. Eventually, of course, there was that wonderful book published, more than 1,000 pages on judges of the Court of Appeals. I think it's wonderful that we have this chronicle and this description of the Court of Appeals. What I love even more about the book is that it brought the whole court together. Each of us wrote chapters. I wrote a chapter. I wrote the chapter on Cardozo. We all wrote chapters. And there we were digging into the history of the Court of Appeals, and then the interest broadened and broadened and broadened, as justifiably it should have, to the court system in general in the state of New York. We have a great court system in the state of New York. We have a great history and a great heritage. And so with our extraordinary, I don't know what to call her, librarian, another person boundlessly curious and very scholarly and marvelous at research and everything else, Frances Murray, she joined forces with Judge Rosenblatt and me, and we were sort of rolling along until we hit Maryland, found Maryland, and got structure and organization, and boy, has this ever taken off.